was that these people were sophisticated, that there was fucking crazy types of technology before us.
But the problem is they looking for
Proving is that we don't know shit.
You see what I'm saying, though?
Nothing. We can never
They look,
prove
yeah, that's what it is.
We'll never know.
They denying it because there's no documentation.
We're never gonna know.
Who has the answers?
And welcome everyone to Gobekli Tepe episode 12. Damn, 12. I like that number. I can't believe we've hit it. I am your...
We're gonna get 52 real soon.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Oh, true. I mean, eventually. Not very soon. But anyways, I am your host, one of the two, Juan Pablo, coming from New York at NYU. What is up? And coming from you from the West Coast in SF, well, not really, but Berkeley area, is Juan Morales. Introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? I'm Juan Morales.
Yeah.
From Berkeley.
Yeah, from Berkeley. So we have a really interesting week this week. We got a lot to talk about.
Lots of drama.
Yeah, big drama, in case you haven't heard of it, but we'll be talking about it. A lot of cool stuff going on. I don't know. I don't really want to know what to start with. I guess the first and foremost, if you haven't heard of it, Eminem released a diss track hitting MGK right in the fucking face. But we won't be talking about that in depth because it's going to be our mini topic of the week. But just know that we're going to pick this apart and we're going to talk about our favorite moments. And if you haven't listened to it, then take the time to listen to it because that shit is crazy as fuck.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard it, I mean, in case you don't know, Eminem destroyed MGK's life. So
yeah. So we're gonna talk more about that, but we're gonna put it on a pause. So interesting. I want to talk about this fashion stuff for a sec, right? Kendrick is actually just announced a new Nike sneaker collaboration. So Nike Cortezes, they look beautiful in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of the Cortezes. And they're gonna release on the 22nd of September for only $100. Not a bad cop. They look really cool. They're like the Kung Fu Kenny Cortezes, but re-envisioned, and I think they're really dope. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I'd highly suggest googling it, staying on top of that drop. I'm a huge fan of Kendrick. If I could afford those shoes, I would buy them. So that's that for fashion, I guess, this week for the most part. One thing that I wanted to mention. One bigger thing that will relate to our song of the week when we get there, but something I really wanted to talk about that we should discuss. Chance, 23 hours ago, in case anyone isn't aware, posted a picture of just a word text of good ass job. And Juan, what do you think about when you see something like that posted by Chance the Rapper in Chicago, Illinois?
I mean, the first thing you think is from Ultralight Beam. He said, let's do a good-ass job with Chance 3. I hear you got to sell it to catch the Grammy.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sounds like he's working on something with Kanye.
And you would be very right if you said that. Or if anyone thought that, then you're very right. If you haven't been following Chance and Kanye on their Instagrams, I highly suggest you go check it out. Kanye is doing this really experimental, really like kind of dad, kind of artist, kind of like we don't know what the fuck's going on with Kanye as usual kind of thing, where he's posting a lot of stuff. But he's been in Chicago over the last week, and he's been posting a lot of different things in terms of his location, in terms of who he's with. We've seen that he's with Ronnie J in the studio. We've spotted Ronnie J in there. Of course, we spotted Chance. Kanye has posted pictures of Chance in the studio. G Herbo is also there, of course, another Chicago native. Reese is there as well. So it seems like the Chicago crew is really putting themselves together at this point, because it seems like Chance is really going to go hard for this album. So Juan, you mentioned something which I want to bring up, which is, you know, when Chance posts something like this, it doesn't mean that it's going to be here in like 2-3 months. I mean, we're hoping not, but more so it's more like a coming soon at this point.
No, I'm straight up thinking it's coming out this week.
Oof. That's a big thing. You know, okay, PSA right now. If this fucking Chance Kanye album comes out this week, it will 100% override our big topic for next week. Media of next week we will tell you at the end of this episode, but just remember, if this album drops and you see it and you've listened to our podcast and you know what the fuck is going on, that shit is going to override any major topic, because we will be all over that shit. So anyways, yeah, I think that if it drops next week, I think it'll be crazy. But we also know, and I think this kind of adds to what you're saying, right? But we know that when Kanye is in the studio, Kanye does things very last minute. So it's not like...
Does things quick.
Yeah, very quick. So if he's meeting with all these people right now, he's doing all this shit right now, we're going to see a pretty quick turnout. I mean, given the way the summer was with his release of all the good music stuff, all the albums were knocking out in a week, and he was week by week by week, and we were seeing him working and modifying the tracks hours, maybe within the hour of the drop, he was still modifying the tracks. So, and even after, actually. So we're seeing this like really high potential for a Chance Kanye thing to be dropping very, very soon. Juan has his bets on this week. I'm a little skeptical, but I want it to be this week. I really do. So hopefully you're right. It's a lot of big shit. I would suggest checking out Kanye's Instagram. He's been very cryptic about a lot of things, but he's been posting a lot. So if you're into deciphering Kanye messages, then go on his Instagram and check it out. But this is a really big
honestly
deal.
It just kind of seems like he's posting bullshit. Like, Kanye's so weird.
Yeah, but in that bullshit he sprinkles some key hints. So again, Chance, Ronnie J, G Herbo, Reese, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen, but we know it's gonna be big. So definitely stay tuned for that. Next thing,
I've got something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
There's been a lot of talk right now about this movie called Mandy with Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
And I thought it's getting, well, I'm not sure the movie's getting ridiculously good reviews, but Cage's performance in it, he goes full Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Is apparently the huge highlight of the film, and I want to talk about it eventually, but I just wanted to mention that this thing is starting to get released soon, so it's like kind of sporadic release throughout. So if you're interested in watching it, I can't find a wide release date, but it's already technically out. It came out on September 14th. But so it's out kind of like sporadically, and if anyone's interested in watching Nicolas Cage go crazy, I'm sure we're gonna get to it at some point. We just gotta find a time and day to go.
There's something here. I'm reading the synopsis on Google, and I see the word cult, I see the word sadistic, I see a catapult, I see phantasmagoric, I see bloody, deadly fire, and Nicolas Cage, 1983.
It looks like it's going to be incredible.
And it's got 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. I am betting on the fact that this is going to be a Nicolas Cage banger. So, let's coordinate.
And we if anyone hasn't seen Drive Angry, it's one of the greatest films of all time.
Oh my god. I'm dead. I haven't seen that in forever, but that movie is ridiculous on every fucking level. So
I absolutely love that film.
Yeah.
And notice I say film.
Not movie, film. No, yeah. Well, it's playing
it's a
at
piece
the IFC
of art.
Center. This movie is playing at the IFC Center.
So I'm just trying to get people to go and watch it. We're gonna talk about it soon. I can't find a time to go watch it, or the soonest I can watch it is September 22nd apparently. So I'll probably go around then. But look forward to that.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention, as far as movies go, there hasn't been a lot going on this week, but they released so I wanted to mention that we don't really talk about comic book films that much, but like I want to mention the DC
Thing came out, right? Yeah.
Oh, for what?
Go ahead, continue.
Oh, I don't know about a trailer, but
okay.
So the DC universe is doing bullshit. They're like, so everyone knows the DC's had all these issues, and like Superman's mustache, and like there's just been a whole bunch of issues with kind of getting these movies together and trying to compete with Marvel.
Right.
And now for some reason, it seems that they've decided they're going to make a standalone Joker movie, like apart from the universe.
Okay.
I guess just to confuse people, and I think it won't have Batman in it.
Okay, interesting. This
And
I did
Joaquin
not-
Phoenix is the Joker.
No way.
And they just released a picture of him as well. Not he's not in the makeup. He's just, I guess it's pre-Jokerifying. And I just think it's really interesting that a film studio's, I guess, trying something new, but it's like something really bad. Like, it's not gonna work out. Like, the movie might be good, but because, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, but
Right.
It's just very interestingly, it's a very weird scenario that's happening because they're just trying to rebuild after the disaster that was Justice League,
Right.
and I'm not sure they can.
I'm slightly interested in this, but looking at Joaquin Phoenix, I'm looking at the pictures and like shit. It seems like an origin story Joker movie,
It is, I think so.
which is like interesting because like
Defeats the
Joaquin
purpose
Phoenix is a
of the
very
Joker.
angsty actor in my opinion. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna mold him into the Joker. It's not quite as thin as a typical Joker. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm very curious about this. We'll probably be following this up, but there's nothing about it until next year. So
Yeah, no, it's a ways away.
speaking of weird decisions, Robert De Niro has been casted for it though, which is interesting. But okay, I was gonna say this. So another weird thing, right, that DC is doing. You know, there are rumors that Henry Cavill may no longer be Superman, right?
Oh no, that's confirmed.
Oh, it's confirmed.
That's
Okay.
so. I forgot about that. That's crazy.
Yep.
What are they doing?
I don't know, man. Who the fuck is who's calling all the big shots here?
Henry Cavill was not the problem with the Superman
Not at
movies.
all. Given I don't like Superman, but I thought Henry Cavill really fit the look and the vibe of the whole
Oh
character.
yeah. If he was like a happy Superman, like a hopeful Superman, Henry Cavill could have pulled that off so well.
Yeah.
I just think it was the screenplay and the directing that fucked it up, but whatever.
I don't know, man.
Man, it's crazy that they've got all these characters and all these great stories that people love, and they're messing it up so badly.
I feel like it's because the studio is really pulling strings here, which is always bad, right? Because executives never know what the fuck they want to do. They're always the ones with the money, and they're pulling all the strings because they want to see something their way. And in reality, we should be putting power into like the real people who study Batman, like all the people who've read all the comics, who know the stories, who know the feelings,
Yeah.
like the people who actually give a shit. You know what I mean? So I
And
don't know
I
what's
think
going
this is
on.
why indie small films are typically better. And I mean, I say typically because a lot of times they're not.
Right.
I mean, we'll get to it. You finish your news. I think that's all I really had to say. I really just wanted to talk about Mandy because it's kind of off people's radars,
Right.
and I really want to see it. Nicolas Cage has been like this enigma for me for a long time.
Right.
There was like a portion of my life where like I was subscribed to that subreddit One True God where they would just post Nicolas Cage memes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
Well, okay, I want to stay on this topic for a sec, though, right? Did you see the new Shazam trailer?
Oh yeah, I did.
What did you think?
It looks like I feel like it looks like a superhero movie from like the 2000s. It
Right.
just doesn't look like something modern.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't like the costume. The premise is interesting, I guess, but it doesn't seem to be that. I've heard a lot of praise for this trailer, but I'm very not interested. The same goes with Aquaman, and I want Aquaman to be cool because I'm a swimmer, and I love swimming, and I love water, and Aquaman could be so cool, but it really just doesn't look like it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Shazam trailer recently, like whenever the fuck it came out, and like, I don't know, I'm confused. I think your description of it feeling like an early 2000s superhero movie is exactly what I felt. Now that you said that, that's the precise way to explain my feelings towards how I felt when I was watching it. I I don't know.
It just kind of, yeah, it's got this vibe of like, we don't know
Like,
what we're
they
doing
almost
with
stepped
superhero movies
backwards,
yet.
right?
Yeah. It's so weird.
Confused. I also didn't see a hint of Dwayne Johnson, which I'm mad about, like The Rock. But
Honestly,
I
that's
assume
the only
it's
reason
gonna
I'm
be a
gonna watch it.
reveal. I assume it's gonna be a reveal, like in the next trailer probably. But still,
For all our listeners, I just want to mention we had a bonus question in a trivia night that I was at a few weeks ago, and the bonus question was, whatever table can name the most movies starring The Rock gets like bonus points, and I believe I named 17 of like 19.
wait, what?
So, yeah.
19? Did you say 19?
I think he has made 19, and I named 17 of them.
Jesus
And
Christ.
I've seen most of them. I never realized I was really the Rock fan, but it seems that I smell what the Rock is cooking, you know?
Well, the other thing is this, right? I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm pretty sure he's the highest paid actor this year.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Cause
He had like relatively large movies,
yeah,
which I've seen both of them.
what was
For
the
no
what was the
reason.
one earlier this year? We went to watch together,
Rampage.
right? No, not Rampage. Or was that last year?
Skyscraper.
I don't remember.
I think we went to see Jumanji together.
Yeah,
That was last year.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. Moving on from The Rock. One final thing I wanted to mention before transitioning to our topic of the week is a new song. This is the beginning. Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, I mentioned this episodes and episodes ago. But Kodak Black is officially out of jail, so free Kodak. He's out. The first thing we're seeing of him in terms of studio sesh is a new song called Wake Up in the Sky that came out. It's Gucci Mane featuring Bruno Mars and Kodak. First time we're seeing Kodak back out again in the studio, although we've caught glimpses of him in the studio with Travis Scott as well. The song is a banger in my opinion, so check it out. It's really good. It's been in my it's like my earworm of the week basically, so I had to mention it. So yeah, okay. That's all I have to say this week. We kind of ran a little overtime, so I feel like let's jump into our conversation of the week, our main topic, White Boy Rick. And what a topic to talk about.
All right. Let's start this off with me and Juan were very excited about White Boy Rick. The trailer was really good.
Yes.
The trailer was really entertaining. It has Matthew McConaughey, who we're both fans of.
Our boy.
Murph. It seemed interesting, and the story was something like, I don't know, I felt like it could be something like kind of like I, Tonya, which was one of my favorite movies of last year, where it's just like this wilder than life, super crazy story done justice in like a really clever, like artsy or very flashy way. Like, I love that movie.
Yeah, like flashy biopic.
Like, I was really hoping for that. What we got was not that.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, synopsis of the movie for those who are unaware of this film. White Boy Rick is about a 15-year-old boy named Rick who, and it's funny because, you know what? I'm going to stumble describing this movie because after watching it, I don't quite understand what the fuck happened, but I'm going to run with it.
I'll try to correct you if there's anything I catch, but honestly, I don't really understand what happened either.
Okay, good. So, 15-year-old boy named Rick. Matthew McConaughey is his father. His father is an illegal weapons dealer.
No, he's legal. He is a legally licensed weapon dealer.
Right, but does his fashion, the way he does it is slightly illegal, especially when it comes to manufacturing modifications.
He sells silencers too.
Right.
Which he manufactures, and those are illegal.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Correction number 1.
Also, he sells AKs.
Yeah.
Because the AK is the best. I don't remember what he said. It's like
whatever the fuck. Irrelevant to the actual
American dream.
he's like, I don't know, his character's great, but okay, we'll get into that. Okay, he's a weapons dealer, not with the store or anything, but he just sells weapons to people, to civilians. His son Rick, also kind of like, you know, you can tell based on his character, he looks up to his dad, kind of like he wants to be a hustler too, and he wants to get into the business of making money, like making money doing things. He has this aspiration with his dad to open up a video store, because this is like the 80s, so cassettes and like VHS and shit. And honestly, like, I don't know. Okay, and he gets into some shit, like, I don't really know, like, what's a spoiler and what's not a spoiler. I think in the trailer,
honestly,
in the trailer it mentions him being involved with the feds, so I guess that's not a spoiler. But in the trailer they talk about him being involved with the feds, him being an insider for the FBI, so we know that that's sprinkled into the film. We know he gets into the business of selling drugs, and his fucking family is nuts. I feel like that's the vibe of what the movie, like, if I had to describe it, that's the way I would describe the film.
No, I mean, yeah, I think that's a good description. There isn't, like, frankly, I understood so little that I'm not sure how much I can even spoil when we get to spoilers. I'll be like, yeah, this happened, and the people will correct me and be like, no, that's
That was
not
in the trailer.
what happened. And, like, honestly, I don't really know. The movie was difficult.
Yeah.
It was a lot of story. It was a lot of, it's this big, interesting conspiracy that happened, and we just get portions of it and snippets of it, and time passes so quickly that we don't get enough. There's not enough movie to tell this story, and it gets very confusing very quickly.
Yeah. So the premise of the film is very large, but like, here's my take, right? If we're gonna first take this right now, the way that I feel that the film went, there's a huge lack of direction in the film. I think that it's a very big story. We get about 3 to 4 years worth of this White Boy Rick story. And they're all separated by literal, like, 1984, 1985, whatever. And so we're able to tell that the year passes, but the reality is that the film is heavily lacking any sort of direction. So a lot of scenes feel like they're interjected. A lot of scenes are sprinkled in, and they're like, those are good scenes, but they don't rise to anything. There's no climax. There's no rising action. Things just kind of fall and pick up as they go. There are a lot of things that just never come back, and it's really upsetting because, like, this is a cast that I genuinely wanted to see thrive.
Was excited for.
Yeah, because Matthew McConaughey for first and foremost. Then when you watch the film, you realize that YG and Danny Brown are both in the film. We also know, so Brian Tyree Henry, who's from fucking Atlanta, is in the film. Who plays Paperboy in the film.
Yeah, I forgot Paperboy was in it because he had such a small, useless role.
Exactly.
That I think was supposed to be a large role, and then it just wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, Jennifer Jason Leigh is also in it, who was nominated or won the Academy Award for The Hateful Eight as Best Supporting Actress.
Yep.
We also had one of my favorites, Bruce Dern. I fucking love Bruce Dern so much. He is like one of my favorite actors, and he has one great scene, and then that's it. And it's in the trailer too. Like, that's it. And there's Eddie Marsan, who, like, I know from Ray Donovan, if anyone's watched the show. And he's also a great actor, but his character doesn't really get exploited. We see him, he's in 3 scenes, I believe. That's it. And so, which, if you don't know who I'm talking about, it's the one white guy at the big wedding in the film, you know, who, like, looks really wacky. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Who was also at the club? Remember, you know, the club scene?
Yeah,
I
remember.
Okay, so really interesting cast. I wanted to see that there was so much dynamic to be played with, and, like, I it fell short in my opinion, not because the actors didn't know what they were doing, because I think YG had a great performance. Danny Brown's like supporting role was fantastic,
funny,
so good. Matthew McConaughey, stellar, literally fucking like, I don't know. I felt like he was being the most McConaughey that he usually is, and he really embodied this character, right? Like what do you think? You know what I mean?
No, he did great.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, Matthew McConaughey was a standout in this movie.
Yeah. And then
Matthew McConaughey stole every scene he was in. Absolutely.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, even fucking White Boy Rick. I liked his performance. I think that there was an element to the charisma of him being young and him like kind of not knowing the game and being kind of ballsy, but also like, I don't know. I think that
I felt that Rick was a little stale.
He was a little bland at times. I recognize that, but I didn't mind him in the role. I still think that there was a huge lack of direction otherwise. And when I mean direction, like I'm talking about the way the
3-act structure.
Yeah, the
or
structure.
a structure.
Yeah.
How about a structure? That would have been so nice. They had so many build up to like you know, him getting rich or things happening or like, I don't know, like for example, just him like becoming a big name in drug dealing.
Right.
It's like he starts drug dealing and then the next scene he's a huge name in drug dealing and he's wearing all this shit and like everyone knows him. Like, and that's not a spoiler, that's in the trailer.
It's in the film, yep. It's in the trailer, sorry. Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous to me because that just happens like at the snap of a finger and nothing really comes of it either. Like, it's so weird. I was totally expecting something like a build up and a climax and then like a collapse of his empire or something.
Right.
But nothing like that. I thought it could be like a Scarface. It could have been like a Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, even like the craziest films follow a structure.
Right.
Look at fucking Sorry to Bother You. Again, I'm gonna keep mentioning this movie because it's my favorite movie of the year. That shit had a structure and it had like at least they had a montage of him becoming a power caller.
Right.
And like you see the transition, you see him become a different person. For me, Rick never evolved. He was just like
always Rick.
I mean, he's just Rick. And like sometimes he wore some crazier shit. Like I feel like there was so little, like it was like very much just trying to tell us facts. It was like getting a stream of facts, and then not all the facts are connected, but you have a lot of facts now about, and like you might not understand all of the facts, but you got them.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's a good way to put it. And even like I think the shots were also great. Like a lot of the shots were phenomenal in my opinion, which is like the director at least put their head into like how is this going to look pretty. I thought the choreography for a lot of the scenes was good too. I just don't think the director knew what the fuck was happening in terms of structure, and I think that also obviously falls into the screenplay writer and like the production assistants and the producers. I don't know, man.
It's just crazy because like I didn't even get really. I never felt anything during this movie. I think it's supposed to be a drama, right? Like I never laughed.
Drama thriller.
I never felt anxious. I never like. There were things that happened where I was just like, "What the fuck? What?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me?" There was no build up to that. What? How did what? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, I know.
And like, I don't understand because it just doesn't work.
Yeah, nothing really fit the pieces. And the other thing, one thing I wanted to mention as well before we get into the spoiler section is like, no character was deep enough that you felt bad for anything happening to them. Like, and again, not gonna say anything with that.
Absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. I could not connect to any character, not even Rick. Yep. Honestly,
nothing. There was
not even Rick.
There was no, and that's crazy, right? Coming from Searching, where Searching took literally 5 minutes and made you fall in love with the entire family. This film, in
And then
no
it
point,
tears you apart, and you totally care about
Right.
this girl going missing.
right? And like literally in this film, in White Boy Rick, at no point do you feel like their character development has been solid enough for you to give a shit about anyone. You're kind of just like,
No.
oh, that happened. Okay.
I
Um,
like I j-
is there
yeah.
is there anything else you want to say before we get into the spoilers? Because I feel like
no.
okay, so
I honestly wouldn't recommend this movie. I give it a not good.
yeah, I'm gonna go with not good as well. I don't want to. I
That's
try
the
to have
saddest thing I've
mercy.
ever had to say about a McConaughey movie.
Yeah,
I mean, there are a lot of not good McConaughey movies, but
but for the kind of hype
He-
that this one had,
yeah,
it's a little different, I think. I want to give it a not good as well, just because like I try to be lax with these like score, because I feel like Juan is way more harsh than I am, but like this particular film, I feel like it's not good, and so
I just feel like it hurt me.
yeah, no, I almost felt bad that I dragged my mom to go watch this, not because of the content of the film, just because it was bad, and I felt like
Yeah,
it wasn't worth it. So with that being said, we're gonna jump into spoilers. So if you haven't seen,
if you want to listen, to the spoilers, go ahead. You're gonna get about as much. You're gonna get the same. You'll probably get a better experience of the film
listening to it than seeing it, pretty much.
than going to waste 2 hours and watch this film.
Yeah, if you're a huge fan of McConaughey and you think that the story is cool and you want to support the industry, go watch it. Otherwise, like, there's not much that we're gonna say in this, like, in the spoiler section that's gonna like drastically change your viewing experience. Just FYI.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you go, you're gonna go for the acting, not the story.
Exactly.
Because the story, first of all, you could look it up on Wikipedia and you'll get a better explanation of what happened.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to start with this because it's in the very, very beginning of the film. The lack of character development. I think that the first glimpse that you see of that is when they try to make Rick's sisters like leaving very dramatic, and you give zero
Oh, yeah.
fucks. You're like,
Who cares?
oh, like she
She-
wakes him up and she's like, hey, I'm leaving. Like, dad's crazy. I'm going with my boyfriend. You're like, okay,
You're dumb. Like,
yeah.
especially since the only scene that she had up till this point, she wasn't endearing, she wasn't kind, she was just yelling at everyone.
She was yelling. She was being.
She's a drug addict.
She was
like,
high. Like. And the craziest thing, right, is that scene to me was one of the funniest scenes in the whole film. But because I'd seen it in the trailer so many times, I just wasn't that enthused. Like, mind you, I like that scene because I'm seeing so many of like my favorite actors and like, or people that I think are cool, interact all together, like Bruce Dern with McConaughey, and then White Boy Rick, and you're seeing this girl who's like running out in like her underwear, and you're like, this is fucking hilarious. But that's it. Like, there was no more development in that scene other than what you saw in the trailer, and I was really upset because like I wanted to see more of Bruce Dern being a fucking crazy grandfather. And
not to mention Bruce Dern absolutely wasted in this movie.
yeah, so wasted.
Why get an actor? He didn't do shit. He had like 3 scenes. They weren't big scenes. He barely talked. He was just like, he's just a kid at the end, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
Such a lack of direction for such a good actor. Like, if you're gonna fucking hire an Academy Award winner, I'm pretty sure, is he an Academy Award?
I'm not sure.
I'll search that in a sec. But if you're gonna hire someone of that caliber, right, to be like the grandfather of a film, like, give him some fucking reason to be there. Like, same with McConaughey. Like, don't get me wrong, he stole every scene that he was in, but there could have been so much more done with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that there was enough. That there were enough scenes to justify McConaughey being in the film. I don't know. Oh, so Bruce Dern was nominated for 2 Oscars, by the way. So not a winner, but nominated. I was upset. And then the whole lack of development of characters continues because you see a lot of people go to jail. And you don't give a shit. A lot of people go to jail.
Okay, yeah. So, like, everyone in basically Rick's crew goes to jail.
Exactly.
Including his best friend. There was a time, his best friend's named Boo.
Mm-hmm.
and he is the son of like a drug kingpin.
Right.
That's, I think. It was
the best
never
of
made
our
clear to me.
understanding.
I believe he's the son of Johnny, who is the drug kingpin.
Uh-huh.
At some point, he goes to jail. I don't remember seeing him get arrested, but at some point, he goes to jail. And then later on, White Boy Rick's talking about how he went to jail. And you're just like, oh, Boo's in jail now. Okay.
Good to know. Almost like also
And,
like I don't know, Rick getting shot? I didn't give a fuck. Like,
why did that I was just like, excuse me? I was just like, why?
that came
I
more
don't
out of the
understand.
blue because there was just no reason for that to have happened.
I also am very unclear on how everyone got arrested and what exactly Rick contributed, because really all that happened was the FBI was like, hey Rick, you want to sell drugs? And Rick was like, sure. And then he sold drugs, and then after he stopped selling drugs, everyone got arrested.
Yeah, basically it's like after he stopped selling drugs because he was like, "No, I'm not doing that shit anymore." The kingpin got mad at him, told him if he wants to sell drugs, he'll sell it through him. So Rick basically got off scot-free. Like, he was like, "Yo, listen, I know you're selling drugs, but if you're gonna sell drugs, sell them for me instead." Rick was like, "Aight." And then the next scene, they're all fucking arrested. It's like, and then the fucking FBI is like, "Yeah, we have enough shit now for them to all get arrested." It's like, yeah, what did you do? What is that? Like, at what point?
What happened?
Yeah.
What did Rick do? Because really, it seems to me like the reason that they got arrested had something to do with the shooting of a kid in a house. Who was that kid?
He was the kid is irrelevant. It's more so the people that they were trying to shoot. The one guy that was trying that was the person that had to get murdered in that drive-by. It's because they put the drug people on the radar because the drive-by had resulted in a kid getting shot. It made public headlines, and so it put the dad of the kid on the public headlines. And so then all the drug lords were like, fuck, like we're in public now, like we're not hidden anymore. That's
then they were
reason.
arrested immediately.
Exactly. So there was no like uncertainty of them getting fucked over because like we didn't even have a chance to question it. Like they just did. Like they all got arrested. Which is,
and like, why did Johnny get arrested for like literal brutal assault of Danny Brown?
I don't know. Which
what
I want to mention.
What was that? What?
Which I want to mention, right? That scene was Danny Brown had two
I like
scenes.
that scene.
Two. One in which he appears for 5 seconds, in which he's laughing
And he's like,
at YG's face, exactly, in his classic fucking laugh. I thought was fantastic. I was like, the
So
second I
good.
saw him and I heard the laugh, I was like, Danny Brown.
And he's just like rolling by in this fucking fur coat. It's so good.
Balling the fuck out. He's like, haha, I got tickets and you didn't. And the next scene, we're in the club with him, and he's being a fucking baller. He's like, LOL, like, I got the tickets, you didn't. Laugh, 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 like his classic fucking laugh. You're like, I love this character. I was connected to Danny Brown in the approximate 2 minutes he was on screen.
I connected to Danny Brown much more than I connected to Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny just seemed like an asshole that was beating up Danny Brown.
Yeah, and then Danny Brown gets the shit beat out of him, and then they're done. Like they leave the club.
They go home.
They go home.
And then the shooting happens. I thought those were related. The scenes are set up as if the shootings of the children are related to the beating up of Danny Brown.
While
and I don't
it may
think
not
that
feel
they were.
that way, they are supposed to be related.
Are they? I can't tell.
I don't know. I assume so.
What about the fact that like it's just implied, I guess, that that what's his face? That Matthew McConaughey knows that Rick's selling drugs?
Yeah, which is like, when did they
talk about this?
I'm irritated that McConaughey finds the money that Rick has been making. He gets mad at him. Rick is like, fuck you, keep the money, you need it more than I do. and then we don't even know what happens with it. Like, it was such a big
Nothing
thing for the first
happens.
whatever part of the movie, and then nothing happens. That's it.
It's crazy. Nothing comes of it.
And like the whole, like, I don't know, the sister, again, the lack of connection to the sister, like, I was like, okay, now they want her back. Like, it didn't seem like McConaughey gave a shit, but then there's this one line where he was like, I miss her too. I was like, oh, I didn't know
Oh,
that.
okay.
But cool, fine. They go back. She's like, she goes through withdrawal, which I think
She's
is like
in a drug house.
right, and then like she goes through withdrawal, and like her dad helps her, which I thought was like finally a scene
nice.
in which, like, okay, we're kind of seeing some character development a little bit,
But then she's just better.
right?
That's not how that works.
There's nothing else to it. We just see her be shit, and then she does better, and then that's it.
How did you feel about Rick's son? Your daughter or
Okay,
whatever?
honestly, so interjected. It made no, like, I get it because it's based on a true story.
Right
so,
after
like,
he
I
got
get it.
shot.
Cool, like, that's fine, like, whatever. I thought the kid that goes to tell him he's a dad, fucking hilarious. Again, that kid resonated more with me than any of the fucking other characters.
I love that kid. He's just talking to McConaughey. He's like, "What's up, Grandpa?"
He's
And
got
I'm like,
so much
"Bro, I
sass.
love you."
So much sass. And like, the funny thing is that you don't even get an implication, right? Like, when Rick has sex with like his soon-to-be baby mama,
Baby
like,
mama, because it's not a girlfriend, because he just fucks that other lady for
Right.
no reason.
right? Also stupid, but we'll get to that. When he's having sex with soon-to-be baby mama, like, there's no implication that would have even happened because she's so
Dude,
irrelevant in the film.
I didn't even realize they had sex. Like,
No, me neither. Because they were in a
I thought they
public
were just
parking lot
making
watching
out.
a movie, like with friends.
Like-
Okay, to the audience, whenever Juan sighs like that, that is an indicator that he's heavily frustrated with something about the movie. He's just like, I'm done with this shit. Every time I've heard you sigh like that, you're like, I don't get it. You're like, I'm done with this
Like,
shit.
I just, how did this get through? You know,
I don't know. I
how
can't.
did
For
how did
me,
McConaughey sign up for this?
I was nervous. I would have been nervous if I were one of the producers sitting during like the first edit of the film, and I sit in, like, you know, my executive little seat, my private little theater. I'm watching it with the director. Maybe McConaughey's behind me. I have other producers and shit in the room. I'm watching the first edit of the film and I see this shit. I'm like, fuck my whole life. Like, how do we fix this? How do we fix this?
I mean, this film needs like a complete change. Like it can't be a simple edit to fix it. It really is just broken.
Yeah, although the editing is trash, I will say that. The editing is garbage in this movie. For anyone
remember
who's
that
into
part
a
where
stickler
they-
for editing, it's trash.
Remember that part where they get in a car crash?
Yeah, and it was so not dramatic. Like, okay, he's
They were just like, "Oh, we've been in a car crash. Oh well."
veered off. They hit the back of the thing. His shitty car can't get out of the snow. They both get out of the car. And then Rick is like, we can do this, Dad. I got
We
the
can
connections.
sell
Like,
drugs.
I got the people. I know the business. Like, let's do it. And then McConaughey is like, I guess. And then all of a sudden, white boy Rick, kingpin of fucking Detroit. Like, okay, that took what, two seconds? 5? Like, okay.
Yeah. Also, like, what did the FBI want him to do?
Okay, the way that the movie and that the story goes is that he was a informant to the FBI. That is the quote-unquote description, right? However, I will say, if you watch any other movie where they talk about informants for the FBI or for the government or anything, it's very much implied that you're going to be getting information from the inside, right? Which means you might be wearing a wire, you might be doing things for the cops, you might be relaying information. All we saw Rick do as a quote-unquote informant was buy crack and sell cocaine. That is it.
I don't even think he sold anything like himself. He pretty much
right.
just made it.
No, he made it, and then he sold it or his friends sold it,
Like his friends sold it.
and then that's it. And then he literally says, "Fuck you" to the FBI, and leaves. And then that's the last interaction we have with them before the shit hits the fan. Like half an hour later into the movie. It's like,
Yeah.
what informant? What informant? Because then when they're sitting down after Rick gets arrested, they're like, "Oh, do you think that the public would believe that a 15-year-old was informing the FBI, or like was helping the FBI?" And then McConaughey does the classic trailer line. He's like, "But he did."
But he was.
Like, but he was. And then it's like, okay, but like, not really, considering they arrested the entirety of the fucking posse before Rick was even in jail. So it's not like he contributed that much, or maybe he did and we just didn't know because the movie didn't even tell us.
That's the thing. We never actually see him inform to the FBI.
Yeah.
So, like, what?
That's why
Then-
I think McConaughey is in the right to be confused when he's like, he was just like, the FBI made him sell drugs. I'm like, fucking exactly. You're watching the same movie we are. We don't know what the fuck is going on. All he did was
The
sell
FBI.
drugs for the FBI.
Yeah, and they told him to, and then he did, and then he got good at it.
Yeah. And then the FBI was
just-
like, yo, chill the fuck out, and arrested him and gave him life imprisonment. Good one.
Yep.
That's good one.
That's the thing. It's such a crazy, good, like, conspiracy story that they just butchered.
Every single part of it.
So, like, I'm just wondering, like, did I like this better than The Nun?
Oh, man. I don't even know. I think...
I mean, at least I laughed at The Nun.
Right.
And I thought it was bad, but it was, like, so bad it's good. Like, here I was just like, what was that? What did I just watch?
I think the only laughs I got from this movie were Danny Brown, somewhat YG, and then there was this one dude in the theater who was snoring so loud he sounded like he was absorbing the entirety of Saturn every time he opened his mouth. So that made a lot of people laugh, but it doesn't have anything to do with McConaughey, so...
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I think someone was like getting a blowjob in the back, and that was like,
It's like, honey, I'm really bored. I'm just gonna suck your dick. How about that? He's like, yeah, makes sense.
yeah, sure, it'll make this better. Like, I was just like, really? Like, I hope that's not what's happening, but like, I think it was.
But you're like, I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah,
No, okay.
Yeah.
Without saying anything more, because I don't think we need to dwell on this.
I think
film
we're
anymore.
done. Not good.
Unfortunate. If you haven't watched it, don't bother unless you really love McConaughey like we do. Or I guess if you want to go for the acting, maybe. But yeah, I think that very unfortunate. Very unfortunate considering it was one of my top 5 hyped movies of the year for me. So here we are. In transition, we want to, like I said, we were going to touch back upon the Chance stuff. So, Juan, introduce our song of the week, please.
So, 4 years ago, Chance the Rapper came to Cornell. This was before Chance 3. And I got into him. And I started listening to his music. And obviously, I looked at his music and I saw two mixtapes out at that point. 10 Day and Acid Rap. And I just want to put the first Chance song that I ever heard, which is the first song on 10 Day, 400 minutes, which me and my friend Rebecca played on loop for weeks. We had it memorized. Like, we were ready for him to sing that at Slope Day, and he didn't, which was a shame. But Chance, classic Chance is something that I'm sure most of you haven't heard, so give it a listen.
Yeah, so without further ado, 400 Minute by Chance the Rapper.
Yep.
Ah! I got suspended, ooh, you got suspended for chief and 100 blunts, 400 minutes. Fans all in the stands, they hands for Mr. Bennett, that racket over the net. Ooh, give me my tennis shoes, give me a minute. Ooh, I can't be taught in my classes already started. They told my mom I'm retarded, but that 10-day done in one night. Honda from a Hyundai. No tassel in the spring, but after summer, I'm alumni. They took my nigga one night, and I was standing right there, an inch away from heaven, a million songs from right here, a step away from South by, a swing away from Cali, a hook away from verses, I'm a dad away from rapping. So at the school, they arrested him, backseat squad car nestled in. Shouts to the bitch, nigga Hasselton, with his big show body ass wrestling. Finna see the 10-day pestilence, so far so good, so special. No stars, good jobs, or excellence. And I'm still so fucking not excellent. Ooh, you got suspended. Ooh, you not gon' finish. Ooh, you look familiar. Ooh, you look like Kenneth. Damn, they gon' resent it. Ooh, you representing a class of bad kids. 14 for 100 minutes.
All right, and we're back. Hope you knew the song. I feel like it'd be dope. Sometimes we throw some little throwbacks and like just little calling cards for those who really have kept up with some of these artists for like the time that we have. And
I'm ready for cul-de-sac when we do a Gambino.
Oh, true. When we feel like that album is coming, we're gonna be playing some cul-de-sac. Okay, mini topic. Let's brace this one. MGK diss. What is it? Killshot?
Killshot.
Killshot by Eminem. So many things to say. So little time to talk about it.
Literally 10 minutes.
Yeah, we got bars and bars and bars of Eminem just fucking wailing on. But okay, hold up.
Destroying this poor man.
Let's give MGK the benefit of the doubt here. We spoke about this probably last week or the week before about the MGK diss. This is, and to give people some backstory in case you don't know it, which I feel like I'm not going to dwell on this too much because you should, but MGK, he had some beef with Eminem a little bit, I'm going to say. Couple things here and there. Eminem simply doesn't like MGK. MGK made a couple of comments about Haley Once Upon a Time, which is Eminem's daughter. Then Eminem released Kamikaze. He made a bit of a he went pretty directly to MGK. MGK was like, what the fuck, let me just take this god on, right? Because like, what smarter idea than to pull a Meek Mill ×2 and
who takes
go for
on
Eminem?
Freaking Eminem?
Yeah. And it's funny because no one else who got dissed on that album really went for him the way MGK did. But whatever. They accepted it, but MGK didn't. He said, okay, let me make a diss. Made a diss, got pretty big, 36 mil in a week on YouTube views. And Eminem was like, nah, not about that. And mind you, we're going to talk about a couple things here. Mind you, during the time period last month, I believe it was last month, in which G-Eazy and Halsey broke up, MGK had the balls to talk some smack about G-Eazy in a freestyle, I believe on Sway. And lo and behold, G-Eazy released a diss track, but that wasn't enough for Eminem. No. It wasn't enough that G-Eazy was fighting his own fight. He said, let me do it for you, but better. And so we even get some slips for G-Eazy. Culmination of that being, if you go on G-Eazy's Instagram, you can see a picture of him and M in the studio, flipping the bird, no caption. We already know who the fuck it's aiming at. So rest in peace, MGK, because we already know what the fuck happened. Anyways, Juan, please piece apart some of the lyrics that you feel were hella sav and worth noting in this glorious Meek Mill ×2 destroyal, right?
I mean, it's the whole song. Like, Eminem comes at MGK really with just diss after diss after diss. He counters every point that MGK makes on his song, while at the same time completely destroying this man. Like, honestly, I'm just not even... I don't know how to talk about it, because he's just... MGK taking him on, I knew that Eminem was going to release something. I really wanted him to.
Right.
And I just was terrified of it being bad, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and like, it took a while, but this is probably the strongest thing that he could have possibly put out. It's like old, shady, it's like hard. He's transitioning beats constantly, flows constantly. He doesn't even have a hook. He's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna completely insult this guy on every line. Some of my favorites, I mean, I think I love the way he started, where he takes MGK's or some of MGK's stupider insults, like, you sound like a bitch and your fucking beard is weird and you're yelling at the mic, and he's just like, shut up.
He's like shut the fuck up. He's like,
shut the fuck up. This is stupid. Like,
sit down, please.
You really get like the feeling that Eminem's less insulted and more annoyed,
right,
by like this fly, this mosquito, you know, that like he does not care about. But, you know,
he still goes in for almost 5 minutes.
He's not gonna take it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got lines like literally...
Well, the one that I feel like best resonates with what you just said is like, he's like, Stan, son, listen, man, dad isn't mad, but how you gonna name yourself after a damn gun and have a man bun? Like, he's literally just like piecing him the fuck apart, right? Like, he's like, listen, you're a Stan, like, you're like a fucking, no, hold up. There's a perfect line for this. He's like, what is it? I'd rather be 80-year-old me than 20-year-old you.
20-year-old you. Holy shit.
And he's like, listen, you're just like in my shadow. Like, I gave you this career and now I'm about to destroy it. Like,
yeah, and I mean, he says things like, literally, I feel like I'm babysitting little Tay, which I think is so funny, but at the same time, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's to reference, it's got more fans than you in your own city. Lil Kitty go play. Feel like I'm babysitting Lil Tay. Like, fuck. And what I really like about this, right, is that, and I was mentioning this to you before we started recording, but like, this is like very much classic M flow. Like, very much the Eminem that just goes for straight bars, which we see a bit of it in Kamikaze.
I thought we saw a lot of it in Kamikaze.
Yeah, but the thing about Kamikaze, which I liked as well, is that he took his time with renewing himself and using other people's flows as a way to, one, make fun of them, but two, do them better. In this one, he's really just being himself in full. He's like modifying these lyrics and like these beats, and he's like fitting them. He's like fitting words in every possible crevice of every beat of every instrument in the song. You know what I mean? Like,
he plays around with rhymes so much. Yeah. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's like there's no format. I mean, there's his format. I can't properly decipher it, but he has this intricate format in the way that he writes his raps and the way he rhymes his words, and we see a lot of it here. So I'm glad that he took his time to come back to like clap back with this, because the worst thing you want to do is return the diss like a day later and have it be half-assed, because then that would have given MGK a reason to come back. But M was like, no,
MGK,
no, you're not gonna come back. This is it.
Yeah, as big as you get.
Yeah, because here's the thing: MGK could pull a Meek Mill. He could technically come out with a second diss track, but no one even knows about the second Meek Mill diss track after Back to Back, or it was either after Energy or Back to Back. Because no one gave a shit. Back to Back just slam dunked it. So anything you come back with is like, okay, but you already got slam dunked. It's over. Like, which by the way, Meek Mill and Drake have finally squashed their beef. They came out on stage the other night together. Very cute. Anyways, back to the point. I don't think that's gonna happen in this case because Eminem is a fucking sav and gives zero shits about.
You can't respond to literally you're fucking salty because young Gerald's bald deep inside a Halls.
Yeah, literally.
How do you respond to that?
I don't know. I think there's like a 0.5% chance, 0.05% chance of MGK having any reason to respond. And there's like a 99.95% you should shut the fuck up and take the L. And I have nothing against MGK because I like his music, but I think this is objectively speaking, you got sunned, unfortunately. You played with the big boys, and here we are.
I love when he starts making fun of Rap Devil, and he's like, "I'm sick of your blonde hair and earrings just because you look in the mirror and think you're Marshall Mathers." Wait, that's not the part. It's right before that. Sorry. I'm sick of you being whack and still using that motherfucking auto-tune, so let's talk about it. I'm sick of your mumble rap mouth. Need to get the cock up out of it.
He just goes
before we can even talk about it. I mean, it's just he goes in and he uses MGK's flow pretty much, like his hook, and man, it's the best way M could have responded. I love this song.
He interpolates Rap Devil, which I think is smart because you use the other person's song against them. And so that's it. Like, it is what it is, you know?
This beef is over.
Beef is over. If you haven't checked out Killshot, please do.
I almost want another rapper to respond to M so M could take them down too. Like, Jesus.
I think if this hasn't given you a reason to not come for Eminem, then I don't know what will. Like,
I want Drake to come in.
Oh, hell no. Well, interestingly enough, if you haven't, Eminem did a multiple part series in which Sway interviewed him on his channel. You can check it out. It's very enlightening. He actually says that he likes Drake. So I don't think there really is a beef between them. I think Eminem really popped off on this album. He talks a lot about how, like, in his annoyance and upsetness and like anger, he said a lot of shit just to say a lot of shit because he's just tired of like keeping his mouth shut. But like, for example, I mean, in the album itself, he says, I have nothing against Lil Yachty, I just don't like him. Like, it's not for me. And I think in that same vein, he's like, listen, I don't like what Drake's been doing lately, but it doesn't mean I don't like the guy. I like the guy. So, but with MGK, it's obviously much more personal. And we've seen that. So, okay. Let's leave it at a wrap here. If you...
I think, that settles it.
Yeah.
We made it. One hour.
Yeah. So that's it. If you still haven't heard it again, please check it out. Please go on Genius, dissect those lyrics. I feel like there's a lot to unpack in that song.
Listen to it. Just keep listening to it.
Yeah, and update yourself on the beef because it's a lot of fun. I will say that. Okay.
Absolutely.
So media for next week is...
A simple favor, to Juan's dismay.
To my dismay, I will outwardly say I do not like Anna Kendrick. Not a fan.
Anna Kendrick, I'm sorry if you're listening.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm not a fan. Like, it's nothing personal.
Yo, if you got beef with us, you could come onto the podcast.
Yeah.
And we'll let you have an interview.
Yeah. We'll have a rap battle maybe. Who knows? I mean, she's clearly, after Pitch Perfect, she's got singing, she got the rap. Like, come on through. And let's settle this. Let's squash this beef. You know what I mean? But like, for now,
I mean, I'm excited. Anna Kendrick, Juan Pablo rap battle next week.
We'll have diss tracks for each other. Okay, yeah. So what is it called again? Because I don't even remember the title.
A Simple Favor.
A Simple Favor.
So it's getting great reviews, and everyone's saying it's good. The trailer looks like trash, but one of my friends was like, "Let's go watch it," and I'm like. The worst thing that could happen is I spent one of my 3 movie pass movies because like it hasn't been working for me lately, but I want to spend all 3 if I'm paying the $15 to have it this month. So this one worked, so I can actually go watch it for free. So not losing anything.
Okay, well I will be Okay, we're gonna watch this, and hopefully my saving grace is if Chance drops the album this week, in which case we will not be talking about a simple favor.
It might become a mini topic in there.
Exactly, because my ass is obviously gonna have to talk about it because I watched it, but
I'm really hoping that Juan Pablo likes it way more than I do.
and so I completely regret everything I said in this episode. We'll see.
Yeah,
that could happen. I'm not opposed to the idea. But okay, yeah. Thanks for watching as per usual. Make sure to catch the media for next week. Stay tuned for our updates. Follow us on Instagram if you haven't done so already, at Gobekli Tepe Podcast. Follow us on our personal Instagram accounts. Make sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us if you haven't. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, whatever's your deal. And thanks for following us. Thanks for episode 12. Thanks for listening. And we will catch you in the next week with our new content. Peace out, everyone.
Peace.